got the Hydroid guide. If someone donates $100 on a stream, and you guys can clip this, I will do a Hydroid guide. I will make Hydroid good. How about that? Whoa! Whoa! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh! What the? No! Oh my god! Oh my god! What the? I will make Hydroid good.
I will make Hydroid good. I will make Hydroid good.
The easiest thing about that is that I don't even need to. As I'm sure you all know, Hydroid is one of the best frames in the entire game. The strength of his kit rivals the likes of Gauss and Zaku with some absolutely crazy synergies. One of the most OP abilities in the entire game, Undertow, makes him so unkillable that even Revenant wishes he could be this strong. Tempest Barrage rains down the fury of Zeus, something that absolutely no enemy can survive. And Tidal Surge is such a strong ability that DE even gave it to an Acolyte, knowing that we would be almost powerless to stop them. And finally, we come to the most crazy ability that DE has ever put into the game. Tentacle Simulator? Wait. Why does this suck? Let me check my script. Yep, yeah. Which is why Hydroid is the worst frame in the game? I mean, what? Who wrote this? Hydroid is an easy S tier frame. I mean, just look at how strong this Oh, wow. He really is terrible. Hello, everybody. My name is Kai, and welcome back to Warframe. Today, we are going to be making Hydroid good. Now, I know the words Hydroid and good do not belong in the same sentence, and I promise you that I would have thought the same because contrary to the intro of this video, yeah, Hydroid is absolute garbage under most circumstances. Emphasis on the most, though. Like my other frame videos, I could go over his abilities and what they do, but that's really just the problem with Hydroid. His abilities do not do anything. So what have I done to make him usable? Because while he is terrible, the builds that I have are usable if you're really hitting that copium. The two builds that I have for you guys today are practically the only ones that I could find because they quote-unquote work, but they're just eh. Regardless though, the first one is a melee-focused Hydroid. The augment for his first ability actually makes it a great primer for the corrosive status, but it has a negative side effect of ragdolling all the enemies around. When paired up with a grouping ability like Ensnare, they will not get ragdolled and hit 10 corrosive stacks pretty quickly, making them significantly easier to kill. Ensnare is probably the best grouping ability for this build as it is not gimped on range by the helmet, and it also works on Acolytes, and God knows that without this, he would get absolutely rolled by them. Essentially, ensnare a big group of targets, cast Tempest Barrage, and then just go crazy with your melee. You don't really use his second, and especially don't touch his fourth, as it picks up enemies and flails them around while dealing absolutely no damage, which on a melee focused setup is just annoying. The second can be used for grouping, but Ensnare already does that significantly better and is also our shield gating tool. This build is focused entirely on range and duration, as strength is not needed at all. We do stay at 100% efficiency so that we can shield gate on a single cast of either Ensnare or Tidal Surge, and if choosing the latter, remember that you can tap the ability and then jump to cancel it earlier, or else you just move around at Mach 10 and it is pretty annoying. So I typically just use Ensnare to shield gate anyways. Obviously, Corroding Barrage is needed as it serves as a corrosive primer for more damage, and also an extra status for condition overload on your melee. This is a typical melee build that is supposed to be used with a primer. Feel free to use whatever you want, although my personal choice, as you have come to expect, is the good old Epitaph. It is a very simple build that is really just depending on Ensnare for grouping and having a good melee weapon, and trust me, it was very difficult to find even a single use for one of his abilities. And Tempest Barrage isn't actually bad as a corrosive primer. If the augment was changed to be viral, I could honestly see this being a little bit of a better helmet, but currently corrosive just isn't a super necessary status, but it does work here, so why not? This next build though is, yeah, it's some crazy copium, but it's really creative. Credit goes to Sweet Tears on YouTube for being the first person that I saw do this, as it is really cool. Just, yeah, let me show it to you guys. Condemn is Harrow's helmet, and when used with Tentacle Simulator, or Tentacle Storm I guess, it actually deals some serious damage. The caveat to this though is that this is incredibly slow and requires a ton of setup. First, you need to group up enemies, which can be done with either Tidal Surge or my preferred method of Magus Anomaly for your operator, but it is up to your choice. Once enemies are grouped, hit them with Condemn, then go back to your operator and with the Unairu Focus School's Caustic Strike, armor strip them, return to your frame to prime them with your Epitaph, and then cast Tentacle Simulator and watch them get slapped to death. That is a lot of setup for something that, while it does kill, is incredibly slow and doesn't work on a huge group of enemies. You could also just pick up a Brahma and do the same thing, but this is a video on Hydroid, so if this is the length that we need to go to make him good, we will do it. The build focuses very heavily on strength to increase the damage of tentacles and also the amount of shields that Condemn gives you, because that is going to be our method of shield gating, as we do not have any other ways to do it. Range is not needed because you will be re-proccing this entire rotation very constantly, and this only works on small groups of enemies so that the tentacles can stack their damage. Since we are running negative efficiency, Primed Flow and Energize also fit in to make sure we can afford the rotation, as it is very expensive. Since this is an incredibly ability focused build and we cannot use Matarai for casting speed, we do use Natural Talent, and also I would recommend you can fit in Primed Continuity over the normal version. I just do not want to form on my Hydroid anymore, to be honest with you guys. You'll notice that I also have Preparation here again, which just helps with starting the build off at first, although you do get those primed sure-footed effects from Unairu's passive, which will be proccing all the time, so not using it isn't a big deal. And yeah, that's Hydroid, everyone. Do I really recommend using either of these? No, not really. He's in such a terrible state that he needs a full rework, practically equal to dropping a new Warframe, and I just do not see that happening for the foreseeable future. So Hydroid is proudly going to keep the title of the worst Warframe in the entire game. Thank you so much for watching, everyone, and if you want to see the insanity that led to this video, the link is in the cards right now. I will also be live streaming tonight following the release of this video, so keep an eye out for that. A huge thanks to all of my patrons over on Patreon, where the next video will be getting dropped early for them. So if you would like to support, the link is in the description, where you will also find my Discord, where you can come hang out with our wonderful community and talk all things Warframe and more. But that is going to be it for this one, everyone. I hope this was informative and helped you in realizing just how terrible Hydroid is, even if I'm very impressed with myself for making him playable. But I will see all of you guys in the next one. Peace!